Welcome to another Something Bad Thursday. I'm going to be delaying Friday's as well as Saturday's video for Sunday since I am going to have limited time over the weekend. So without further ado, let me discuss what I want to discuss for this video Thursday, and I hope to have the other videos for Friday and Saturday and Sunday to be uploaded on Sunday, but we'll see what happens because I might be too busy on Sunday to go through all of them. So we'll just kind of have to see and play it out. But I just wanted to give everybody a heads up so there's no confusion. And probably that's going to be how it's going to be for a while, me having to delay the weekend videos, only because my weekends are booked. So without further ado, let me discuss what I wanted to discuss for this Something Bad Thursday. And that is the concept of being spoiled, or having this kind of very, I think, it's not necessarily self-centered, but is largely motivated by that mentality, but also just the idea of, of people who sort of exhibit this behavior, and also those who kind of encourage that behavior. Now, I'm not saying that that everybody in this known universe is spoiled or has these spoiled tendencies, or that some spoiled tendencies are necessarily bad. But it seems like, at least from what I have experienced, at least a lot of the time nowadays, what I think we're sort of doing as a society is we're kind of overpraising people for certain things. Some people are, even calling, the participation trophy. You get a trophy because you participated. And I think this whole mentality kind of enhances this sort of spoiled, sort of self-indulgent kind of behavior. And that's why I think you see a lot of people, kind of, really getting into kind of the whole selfie culture and the whole promoting yourself constantly, and not thinking about what other people's ideas are, just kind of, being so opinionated to the point where, my thoughts are the only ones that have merit. And, I think a lot of it has to do with, this idea of kind of spoiling, I think, and I think it largely comes from a young age. I think a lot of the times parents sort of encourage this sort of behavior too, by sort of giving everybody sort of the same kind of sort of elevated treatment and not elevating them for the right reasons. And as a result, we often, I think there's a lot of times where children, they constantly, want that new toy or whatever, and a lot of the time I think parents nowadays have a difficult time, having that sort of discipline, because I think there is this very self-encouraging kind of behavior where we're not rewarding people for their efforts and for their behavior, but we're rewarding them just because they're there and that they exist. So it's not like that somebody is earning something and, they got it out of, their own abilities. It's just they got it out of just being there and just, but not really necessarily contributing or doing anything to kind of prove their self-worth. And so, this whole kind of, and I think this really what leads to this kind of narcissism and the kinds of things that we ultimately, I think, end up seeing a lot of the time um, in in this sort of world, especially considering the fact that, again, we are so enamored with technology and we absorb ourselves in all of these different media constantly, and feel the need to constantly showcase ourselves, um, and constantly feel the need to buy ourselves things, that we maybe really don't need. So I think a lot of it is really designed to be self-promotion as opposed to based upon effort and behavior, um, and the kind of person you are. And instead, it's about you just being there and you just existing, and not really proving yourself. You're just kind of giving goodies constantly. And I think this is really a big issue, that I think kind of, it exists kind of, I think, within our school system, this whole idea of everybody gets a trophy because everybody participates. Everybody is on the same level as everybody else. Nobody is better at one thing than another person. And then I think this is what leads to people all feeling very spoiled and entitled because, they didn't have to earn anything. They just kind of, they just exist and they say, yeah, worship me because I exist. It's like the leader who doesn't have any leadership skills or anything, but gets to the top only because he says, yeah, I'm the best and I'm the greatest in the whole wide world, instead of really legitimately proving it, or carrying at least maybe a little bit of humbleness. I mean, I think if we were a little bit more humble about things, we would probably have, I think, better relationships overall with everybody else if we didn't act like we're spoiled and entitled and whatnot. I mean, I think, and yeah, I understand that there's a tendency, even for people who have earned things and who've done good things, to kind of flaunt themselves and say, I'm the biggest, best, and greatest in the whole wide world. And I don't like that mentality either. I think there should be a level of humbleness and character, to people who have been able to be somehow successful, and try to encourage others to uh, be successful and whatnot. Or so I think this whole spoiled materialistic kind of viewpoint that we have can, I think, be significantly reduced by us trying to base things more on character, more on morals and behavior. And it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. I mean, just because you make more doesn't make you a better person than the other person who doesn't make as much as you. But what we should be encouraging is that, we don't try to pin pin the worker against the boss. We work together to make things better, and we don't try to flaunt ourselves, just for the sake of saying I'm the biggest, best, and greatest in the whole wide world. We just kind of we just be a leader, and or you just be the worker and you do what the boss says, or you try to help things out. You don't you don't act so spoiled and entitled. I think it can go both ways. I think both workers can be, I think, have this mentality, and so can leaders. So I think the idea is that we don't try to think, we try to think of ourselves based upon our character. I think that's really what it all boils down to. We shouldn't try to be, I don't think we should try to kind of shove ourselves in other people's faces and say, yeah, I'm so great, and look at all of this things that I have, and you should be like me, and blah 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 blah. Instead, I think what we should be encouraging is more cooperation, and not trying to pin ourselves against each other based upon really materialistic value. We should be basing things on moral character, I think, much more significantly at least. So that's really ultimately my 2 cents. I mean, I understand, a little bit of self-indulgence is okay. It's nice to feel good about yourself and feel self-confident and all that. But I think a lot of the times, at least nowadays, I think that gets really carried away sometimes. And I think a lot of it comes through, kind of spoiling people at a young age and telling them that they're the best and greatest and you're gonna go far in life without really any reciprocation from that person that they are going to try to attribute certain moral character. It's kind of, I give you something without earning it or without and I think people at the end of the day become less appreciative of things if you constantly give them something without them really, earning it or trying to, show themselves to be to be good or moral, So I think that's really something that can be attributed. I mean, I think a lot of the times that shows through, I mean, I think the concept of Christmas is actually kind of what highlights it well. You know how the kids who are naughty, they don't get anything, or they get a lump of coal, and the bad kids, excuse me, get the lump of coal, don't get anything, and the good kids get the presents through their moral character and all that. So I think that whole concept of, encouraging people to do good is really what it's going to, I think, let things kind of smooth on over and realize, you're not going to always get what you want out of life. Especially when it comes to material things. I mean, I didn't always get what I wanted on my birthday, and I never always got what I wanted for, and sometimes it took a while until I finally got something huge that I truly appreciated, but it's because I spent time and effort into doing something, and I did well, and so I was rewarded. So I think those kinds of things are really what we should be encouraging. So I think this kind of just spoiled behavior is just something that's just bad, and I think can be damaging onto people, and not just yourself, but onto the people that are around you. Being very self-absorbed and thinking that you deserve everything, and that you don't smell. So I think that's really ultimately what it all boils down to. But yeah, that's really ultimately all I think I can say in regards to this particular topic. But if there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Love to hear what you guys have to say about all these concepts and ideas that I threw out in this video. But until next time, everybody, bye-bye.